Yeah, bro. It's hot as a motherfucker here, man. That shit crazy, bro. Listen, brother. He said we back in, sir. It ain't even that hot today, bro. It's just humid. Yeah, man, that shit crazy. It's lucky. 20 and 26 Warrior. I appreciate it. Up. You know you got it. Give me 1 second, Israel. Damn. Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. Am I locked? Them phones in the yeah, they in the camera.
Yeah, I heard my bad actually.
Let me just get one, the silver one. Yeah, we're gonna go live on the journal over here. Damn.
You said we're gonna go live on the journal.
Yeah, TikTok. We good?
Yeah.
We to what?
Oh yeah, come.
All right. Yeah, not right now. When the journal get here. That's for TikTok. Yeah, so when the journal get here, we can go live on TikTok. All right, Shalom Israel, Yahweh Bashim Yahshua Thumb, Yahweh Shamar, Al Thumb Bashim Yahushua. I am priest and officer of 5,000. Yediah holding it down till 12 Shield. General Mahiman gets here. Nah, set it up again. Yeah, don't worry about it. Now, it's Blacks, Latinos, and First Nation men and women. We got to understand that now is the time more than ever to come out of the world. We got to come out of the world, man, because first of all, it ain't nothing in the world. We got to understand as the Lord's chosen people is that we have to separate ourselves from America. What does it mean to separate? What does it mean? It means to take our mind out of this place. A lot of our people just got done celebrating Juneteenth. And you know what you're going to get ready to do next? You're going to celebrate the goddamn 4th of July. Like, what does I corrupt? You're going to have to help me out. Like, what is the purpose of any Black, Latino, or First Nation man and woman celebrating the Independence Day of the oppressor, who is the devil that the Bible speaks of? We got to understand, man. We shouldn't be celebrating the oppressor's holidays. We shouldn't be celebrating them at all. We have high holy days. We have feast days. The Passover, you know what I mean? The Sabbath, the feast, you know what I mean? Of unleavened bread, the Feast of Tabernacles, you know what I mean? The memorial of the blowing of the trumpets, you know what I mean? Like we have high holy days and feast days. It comes with us starting to take our minds out of this place and coming back into the ISUPK under Commander General Yohana. I just feel like, I got a hardcore shirt on that says ISUPK versus everybody. That's really it. It's the UPK versus everybody. And guess who's going to win? The ISUPK. Because here under Commander General Yohana, you know what I mean, is the only safe haven for Blacks, Latinos, and so-called Native American Indians, man. This is where we have to separate into. Go ahead, Nicole.
Yeah, if I could, so like me and Officer Nyala, we was walking to the train. We seen some Christians on our camp spot down Tulsa Market.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, I'm saying to him, I'm like, he only there because we've been doing this work. You know what I mean? And as I walk past, he see us. He's like, "Hey, you an Israelite?" To me, and I'm like, he's like, "Come here, let me talk to you for a second." I'm like, "No, man, go ahead." You know what I'm saying?
You better than me, because I'd have told him to get a damn job.
Yeah, right.
I told that motherfucker to get a job. Salakia. See, quite as I know some, y'all don't know. Yeah, I mean, I've been in here a short time. Malaki will tell you, I tell you, come up. Our brothers and sisters in the world would look at us and say, get a job.
Right.
Get a job. Like, get a slavery. Like, let me tell you something. You got brothers that come from the slavery and that leave camp to go to the slavery, that sacrifice. And that's the thing they don't understand. That's the thing they don't understand. You don't think we got better things to do with our time? I know I do. I know you do, quite desire, with all that salt. I'm trying to tell you. It's something brothers could be doing. It's something brothers can be doing on Fridays and Saturdays. But our Fridays and Saturdays are spent doing what? Serving the Lord. Right. Waking our people up. And guess what? That's the only thing we have in our minds. That's the only thing that we are required to do, especially as priests and prophets of the Lord. Like our lives ain't our own anymore. because it is more important for us to understand this, that we have to come out of that mindset of this world. And this world right now that we in, America is the same one that was it's no different than Rome, no different than the Persians and the Medes, no different than Babylon, no different than Egypt. And our God said this. Give me Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 26, Bubba, for sure.
Leviticus chapter 20, verse 26.
Uh-huh.
And ye shall be holy unto
Our
me.
God said, ye shall be holy unto me. Now, when you look the word holy up, holy means to be separate or set apart. It ain't your mama or your auntie with that crazy looking feathered hat on in that church. She's not holy. Your pastor with the white robe and gown on, he's not holy. Holy means to be separate, set apart. Our God is telling blacks, Latinos, Native American Indians, the Jews of antiquity, the Israelites, that we are a separate people. Keep going.
For I, the Lord, am holy.
For I, the Lord, am holy. Wait a minute, means God is separate. God is holy, meaning God don't love everybody. And Christians, you know what I mean? They kill me with this quite desire, because they always like to make it seem like, oh, but God loved everyone. God is for everybody. That's not true, and it's nowhere in the Bible. It's nowhere in the Bible. Like, and they always like to make it seem like, oh, what if the Lord came? If the Lord came, who do you think he would come for? What do you think? Would he come for those 500,000 white Ukrainians that they allowed to walk through the Mexican border? Or would he come for them millions of Mexican and Zabalawan, you know what I mean, and Central American brothers and sisters, man, that can't come across? He would come for them Haitians and West Indian brothers and sisters that you don't want to come across, that you was whipping on horseback. Right. So you mean to tell me, and that's the whole notion when God loves everybody. You mean to tell me God loves the abuser and the abused? That's like telling a sister she has to love her rapist. God don't work like that. God only loves us because we are his people, his children. And he told us to be separate because he is separate. Keep going.
And have severed you from other people.
And have severed you from other people. Meaning this, if I sever my arm, right, from my body, it's no longer attached. So guess what? That's what our God did to us. He severed us from these heathens. Severed us, man. Meaning we are no longer a part of them. We ain't attached to them. We have no business trying to celebrate the 4th of July. You know how stupid you look? Like, and some of y'all brothers, Malakia, you gotta get me right. Like, it's gonna be some poor brother, some poor sister that's gonna be out there with the matching red, white, and blue American flag fatigue jumpsuit on the 4th of July with the barbecue grill lit. Talk about, yeah, this is Independence Day. Independence Day for who? Right. For whom? Because you know what we were doing in 1776, July 4th? Picking cotton, being abused, being raped, being murdered. They had a term for what they used to do to brothers, man. You think you're a big, strong brother? It was called bucking. They would come, you know what I mean, and rape you in front of everybody to make an example. That's what you're celebrating? Because that's American history. Right. That's real American history that they do not teach. Them raping and murdering, committing mass genocide on the North American Indians, who are the tribe of Gad, the Seminole Indians, who are the tribe, you know what I mean, of Reuben, the Mexicans, who are the tribe of Issachar, and the black man and woman in America of the tribe of Judah. This is what they did to us. And guess what? They ain't just do this to us. Ask our West Indian brothers and sisters, man. The tribe of Benjamin. Ask Levi and Simeon, Loya and Shimei, Levi and Simeon. Ask them what the French and the Spanish did to them. That's what we look like. We look like fools celebrating their Independence Day. Right. No. Let the oppressor have his day. Let him go out there, cook all those abominations, man. What we have to do is serve the Lord. What we got to do is come back into the UPK under Commander General Yohana. It says, and ye shall be holy unto me, for I, the Lord, am holy, and have severed you from other people. Meaning God severed us from these heathens. From the oppressor, who is the devil that the Bible speaks of, by the way. El hombre blanco es el diablo. Keep reading.
That ye should be mine.
That ye should be mine, because we belong to the Lord. We belong to God, Yahweh. We don't belong to these other nations. You look like a happy slave wearing that red, white, and blue. That's what you look like. And then there's the confusion. This is the real confusion. How the hell are you going to be pro-black? Pro-black on Juneteenth. What they say, Quad Design, Grand Rising. What them sisters be saying that you be talking to on Twitter? Grand Rising, Peace King, boom. Listen, we was at the Doomsday Festival, and these sisters, but I'm gonna tell you, I buy it. We listen. You want to die? These sisters came up to us. It was like, can we get y'all with your hands up, saying a Doomsday? La, but you will get a Kwam Yasha Allah. You'll get that. You'll get a Kwam Yasha Allah, meaning rise Israel, because that's what we have to do. We look foolish celebrating their holidays. You look real dumb. But our God made us to be separate from them unto our God. Meaning this, to give you a basic example of it, right? The Most High God, Yahweh, is our Father, and we are His children. He gave us laws, statutes, and commandments. The other nations can't transgress His commandments because He ain't give it to them. He gave it to us. That's Psalms 147 and 19 and 20. The Amos 3rd chapter says He knows us and doesn't know them. The problem is, now let me get Jeremiah 17 and verse 4. This is what happened. Because we disobeyed our God, this happened. Read what you got.
Oh God, it's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17, verse 4. And thou even thyself.
The son, y'all, give me Romans
shalt
13 and 11.
discontinue from thy inheritance.
It says, thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thy inheritance. Meaning this, thou even thyself, is talking about us. We've been discontinued from our inheritance. And our inheritance is everything. These commandments, these statutes, what our God gave us. He delivered us out of Egypt. The Lord said if He chose any other nation to call, they'd be serving Him right now. If He chose the Chinese, Moab would not be cooking Tom and Jerry Yawanathon. They wouldn't be. They'd be eating lamb and doing what the Lord said. But here we look at us. Disobeying the Most High, thinking we free white in 21. We're not. That's why we've been discontinued from our heritage. Romans 13 and 11. Keep going.
That I gave thee.
That I gave thee. He ain't get us to everybody. He gave this to our people. Did not give it to Bill, Bob, Fred, Susie, you know what I mean, Gretchen and Archibald and Nufutu, Nungala, the Black Panther. He ain't give it to them. Oh, that's right. God don't like Africans neither. God don't like Africans. He don't like East Indians, don't like Arabs, don't like none of them.
Right.
Only us. He only loves us. And what do you do when someone you love, especially your children, transgress your laws? You punish them. That's what's happening to us. We disobeyed our God and we're being punished for it. Because the Most High God is a father. He's a daddy. He's not a mommy. You know damn well, a lot of us know we have fathers. If you disobeyed your father's orders, you had to pay for it. A lot of us know. You know what I'm saying? It's a rough one. Listen, getting on dad's bad side is a whole different thing from getting on mommy's bad side.
Right.
Because mommy gonna forgive you 2 minutes after, you know what I mean, you did whatever. You are, you know, you're a father. Keep going.
Oh God. And I will cause thee to serve thy enemies.
Man, who are we gonna serve?
Thy enemies.
Thy enemies. Our enemies are the ones that are getting ready to celebrate their Independence Day. They're getting ready to celebrate the fact. And this is, and listen, y'all gonna have to get me right on something. Because I look at the oppressor every day and I be like, the nerve of this motherfucker. You left your situation in England because you were being taxed, overtaxed. So what did they do? They crossed an entire ocean to impose taxes and to rape and to destroy God's chosen people. And they call it them manifesting their destiny. But then you want to call Mexicans wetbacks. When you crossed an entire ocean to get away from who? Henry VIII? George II? That's what they did. That's why our God told us, man, and was right, that I will cause thee. And now we serving our enemies. Now, you know what I mean? And it's a rough situation, serving our enemies. And a lot of our people, brother, don't believe that we serve our enemies. Raise your hand if you have, I'm going to say it in this term, a so-called job. Raise your hand if you got a job that you go to. Congratulations, you have an elevator plantation that you go to. It's called a slavery. And you know what they do with that elevator plantation? They abuse you. They mess with your money. They take funds out. They treat you like garbage. You was the last option to be hired, even though you are highly qualified to do whatever you do. You are likely the last hired, and you're the first brother or sister that's going to be out the door. Why is that? We're serving our enemies. We all in Philadelphia. We all in Pennsylvania. I'm pretty sure that a lot of you are behind on your Pico bill like me. I'm trying to tell you, I've been beefing with Pico and Nathaniel for a minute, for a while. Just saying. And guess what? The fact that you got to pay for electricity, you got to pay for water. Like, goddamn, like, we got to pay for water.
Right.
Like, that doesn't blow, like, Bakari, that don't blow y'all minds. That we got to pay for water. Nigga, some of us is paying for air. Air, like the oppressor owns airspace. Like, if you go in a different airspace, you know what I mean? You are in violation. You can get locked up for that. Like, goddamn, he owns the air. We serve our enemies. But you don't look at it that way because what? You make 15, 20, 30, 40, $50 an hour. You think you're getting over. You think you made it.
Right.
No. You should be in that oppressor's seat, and they should be below you. Right. And guess what? It's going to happen in crisis. I can't wait to deny some oppressor's PTO time. I cannot wait. He better not ask me. Hey, Barack, I tell you why Howard shy. I wish Bill Wood come to me talk about, I appreciate Dyer. You know, I know my only day off is the Sabbath. Can I please have off Wednesday? All phones on mute. Can I please have off on this day? I'd be like, but Timmy, I need you. Who is going to take that boulder and take it over there to Quatazar Karaz plantation? I need you. You got to do that. You have to do it. Do rain, sleet, and snow. I don't know if I can do it, but I can't make that arrangement. I'm not. Listen. I'm even gonna play the game that they gonna do. I'm gonna be like this. Well, let me look at my files. Let me go talk with a brother and see. I'm like, I ain't giving him nothing. He gonna work this. He gonna slave this day. It ain't the Sabbath. Who the hell does he think he is? I can't wait. And they relish that. Did you know? And this is another heavy thing, not to get too far off topic, right? Because a lot of our people talk about reparations. Are you aware that they could give us all? Me and all of us in Mariah Capita, I did the math one day. They can give all of us $500,000 or $1 million a piece, every Black, Latino, Native American, Indian, and it wouldn't affect their economy. Right. It would not even put a dent in it. You know why they're not going to do it? Because we disobeyed our God. Right. And our God is the one that is going to get us out of this captivity. When he sends our king, Yahweh Shah Mashiach, who the world ignorantly knows is Jesus Christ, back with 200 million nigga angels to turn this place upside down. Right now, we serve our enemies. Keep reading. Stay with me.
And I will cause thee to serve thy enemies in the land which thou knowest not.
In the land which thou knowest not. Believe it or not, I don't know Southwest Philly. That's where I'm from, but I don't know that place. Right. Some of us are from what? Northwest, Norristown. I mean, South Philly. That ain't where we from. We're from Jerusalem, Zion. We haven't seen our land. It's a land that we don't know. We don't know this place. Even the North American Indian and Seminole Indian, you know what I mean, and so-called Mexicans of the tribe of Reuben, Gad, and Issachar. After you came over here in the Assyrian captivity, this isn't your native land. Even though this land was uninhabited, this ain't your native land. Right. Our native land is Israel, Jerusalem, Zion. And our enemies occupy our land right now. Like, I don't know about y'all, but that bothers me. That burns me up. That heathens right now are in the place that was promised to us, that was given to us. And they're perpetrating the fraud, saying that they're those people. Like, y'all know identity theft is a felony. It ain't just a crime, it's a felony. They're perpetrating a fraud, and this did not happen to them. They wasn't serving enemies in a land that they knew was not. They was from Germany. They was from the mountains, man. That's where they from. They from that little, you know what I mean, crevice they crawled out of. We serve in a place where we don't know. Right. Keep going. As a matter of fact, Nathaniel, before we go there, Bakar, give me Deuteronomy 28 verse 68. I'll give you the big one. They expound on the land that thou knowest not. I heard about the transatlantic slave trade, right? We got some new brothers in the class. That's in the Bible. Right. That's in the Bible. Around 1492, when the conquistador and Cortez and them boys, you know what I mean, got together with the help of the Arabs and the Africans, came over and they took, you know what I mean, the Taino Indians, who are the so-called Puerto Ricans and Cubans today of the tribe of Ephraim and Manasseh. They took the tribe of Gad, or the North American Indians, dropped Gad off in Spain, dropped the Puerto Ricans and Cuban off in Cuba and Puerto Rico, named the Puerto Ricans Rich Port. Puerto Rico means port of riches. Latino man and woman of Puerto Rico, you are of the tribe of Ephraim. Cuban man and woman of Cuba, you are of the tribe of Manasseh. Native American Indian, you are of the tribe of Gad. Took the Mexicans and dropped them off in Spain. And then went over there to West Africa, because we fled West Africa. We fled into West Africa, you know what I mean, after 41 AD, when we fled from Pompeii, you know what I mean, and Titus, when they came and put an end, you know what I mean, to Jerusalem and took over. We fled into Africa trying to blend in, and they caught up with us. And the Africans rounded us up. The Arabs built the slave ships and sold us to the oppressor, who is the devil that the Bible speaks of.
That's right.
That's history. That's the transatlantic slave trade. That's in the Bible. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 68. Let me get it.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68.
Go ahead.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
The Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again. Egypt, a Greek word, Egyptos, which means what? Bondage, slavery. That's what that means. It means slavery. Meaning the Lord was going to bring us into slavery, Egypt again. Because we walked out of Egypt the first time. We walked out, man, like, all right, we out of here. Moses said, we out, brothers. We out, Akim. Let's go. Keep going.
Again, with ships.
With what?
With ships.
With what?
With ships.
Spell ships, Bubba Shaw.
SHIPS.
Who went on cargo slave ships? Blacks and Latinos did, and Native American Indians. That didn't happen to nobody else. That happened to our people. Said that we would go into captivity, slavery again with ships. That happened to us. That's how we got over here. That didn't happen to the so-called Jewish man. He didn't go on no cargo slave ship to nobody. They mad because they took a train ride. They mad because they had a march. Let me tell you something, man. What our people need to understand. What they went through, and they went through something. It's nothing compared to what we went through and what we continue to go through. Because they get over, and here's the thing, they were liberated. They were liberated. Other oppressors, the entire earth came out to save them. Who saves us? Who stood up for us when that went on? Nobody. They tell us to forget. They tell us to forget about slavery. 9/11 was what, 20 years ago, Bakar? They still tell us to remember that. They still talk about remember the Alamo when the Mexicans, the tribe Issachar, kicked their fucking ass. They want to remember everything that happens to them, but everything that happens to us and continues to happen to us, they tell the slaves of this place, us, oh, forget about it. We got to turn the other cheek. Hell no. Listen, man, the scripture saying Deuteronomy 32 and verse 7, remember the days of old. Right. Remember. We have to remember this. This is what they did, man. And they went overboard with it too. Ezekiel 35 talks about that. They went overboard. The oppressor and his wickedness, man, what they done to us. Keep going.
By the way whereof I speak unto thee.
By the way whereof I speak unto thee. Moses, the translation is saying by how I'm talking, by how it's being related to me, it's how I'm saying it to you. Keep going.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
What have we not seen no more again? We haven't seen Jerusalem. We haven't seen Zion. Man, if you even go over there now, it ain't the same to go over there and see what? Malakia yarmulkes? Them ugly little we ain't on TikTok. Them ugly ass motherfucking so-called little Jewish boys and girls, the fucking pigtails. Seeing them, they not Jews. They not. They're not us. They're perpetrating the fraud. Got the tassels and stuff on their pants, talking about those as fringes. No salt, Quatazal. No salt whatsoever. They don't have it. And listen, man, some brother posted, right? If you look at like they fashion weeklies, right? They monitor the UPK. No, they came to Commander General Yahada in the 80s with a bag of money talking about, you know what I mean? Please stop teaching what you teaching. And then another group came and was looking at the fringes, the Jack's Hebrew Academy cover, you know what I mean? The other type of covers they would wear, man, and the designs and everything. The shit that Karab wear today out there in New York. You know what I mean? Fly as hell. All y'all brothers and sisters in the UPK is fly. Them homosexual fashionistas look at that and they're like, oh man, these Hebrews got real fashion. Let's try to spin it and put our touch on it. Because they don't have salt. Christ said we are the salt of the earth. You know what makes us the salt of the earth? It's because God chose us.
Right.
Everything that we do is fly to everybody else. And here's the thing, we just wake up and do it. A Black or Latino or Native Indian man and woman, we don't have to do much to be fly. We just naturally are. We just naturally, naturally salty, quite as I naturally got the natural salt. That's what we got. That should be a shirt, natural salt. They don't have it. They don't. They got to try to copy it. And even when they try to copy it, it is offensive. It's offensive, Malakia. Like, goddamn. We haven't seen our land. We haven't seen it. You go over there now, you are going to be mistreated. You try to go over there now, like our brothers just tried to do, going over to Dimona. Guess what you got to do? You got to serve in the Israeli military for 2 years. And then you get to live on a concentration camp on the outskirts of Israel, while the so-called Jew, who is the devil that the Bible speaks of, man, gets to live his free, white, and 21 life. No. Go ahead, Malakia.
Sir, if we go back to our home, we're gonna go back as tourists.
Not even. You right. Because here's the thing, you ain't gonna be able to enjoy it. The oppressor goes on tours and they get to take pictures, smile, and everything. You will be depressed if you go over there. Like, I know I would. To see the heathens in our land perpetrating the fraud, them looking at us like we're Gentiles when he's the real Gentile, when he's not a Jew, man. He's not. We haven't seen our land in its glory, but we will again. We will again. Because when Christ returns, guess what? Oh man, we taking our land back. We taking back Jerusalem. We taking back Zion. And a lot of you.
Clap it up. Turn the air on here, a little taste, right? Problem. Yes. Okay. Okay. Well, clap it up. Let's get it on. All right. I got something. I'll take your questions in the room. You can do something with the windows or the doors or whatever you can in here. All right. Bear with me. Bear with me.
Is the car still downstairs working on that?
I think the car's trying to work on it now. Gotcha. THAWADAH knows, right?
They was out there
Early.
every other day.
Gotcha. No sweat. All right. Akim, I'll take your questions in the room and online. If you have them, let's hear them, all right? To cool myself off, I might drink a scotch in here too tonight. Just to keep myself refreshed. All right, any questions in the room? In the back, you got it up.
Sir, in the book of Ruth, is Ruth an Israelite by the way of Moab, or she a blood Moab?
She's an Israelite. Ruth is an Israelite. She's mentioned in the New Testament. Without her being an Israelite, the person that married her would have to be killed. Right? That's how you know it. He went and had a meeting with other Israelites and decided who could have her. He was chosen to have her because they THAWADAH warrior, because they passed on her. He married her. Ruth was as much of an Moabite as you and I are African Americans.
Right.
You understand? As other brothers are Jamaicans, or other brothers are Haitians, or other brothers are Mexicans, or other brothers are from Venezuela. All those countries are created by our oppressor, named after our oppressor, under our oppressor's language, and we take on those names because we live there. In that case, Ruth was over there. That at one time was our land, that land of Moab. But the Moabites took it from us, much the same way they took our neighborhoods from us and took Juneteenth. Everyone understands. In a minute, you'll be saying, well, is Juneteenth, are they white people? You'll think that the people that invented Juneteenth were white. Like brothers would say when I first came into truth, you give our oppressor enough time and Michael Jordan will look like Larry Bird. I learned that back in 95, and lo and behold, that's how it works. All right, I'll take your question. Any more questions? What you need is a precept that says we're not allowed to marry a heathen. Any officers giving one, all right? It's in Chronicles. Deuteronomy 7 and 6 is perfect. Someone read that for the warrior, all right?
Come. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son.
That's the law. Everybody understands. And now give it to me with Solomon. Now remember, Solomon was the wisest man on the planet Earth. Right? He was so rich that the Queen of Sheba came to him for advice on how to govern her country, because he was so outstanding and so wise. When he knew he was going to become king at the death of his father David, instead of praying for riches, instead of praying for the death of his enemies, he prayed for wisdom that he might lead his people. And the Most High granted him that, brother. But he had one flaw. Read.
Nehemiah 13, drop down to verse 26.
Nehemiah chapter 13, verse 26. Did not Solomon, king of Israel, sin by these things? Yet among many nations was there no king like him.
There was no one like him, but he still sinned by these things. Read the sin. Yeah, I can't tell by looking at it. You gotta let me know. Seems like it need to be a little more centered. I'm looking at the class now. Go ahead, keep reading now.
Nehemiah chapter 13, verse 25. And I contended with them and cursed them.
I don't think you have it. He married women of which the Most High said, thou shalt not marry. And then he goes to name the names of the women, you know, the Pharaoh's daughter and blah, 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 blah. That's what you need, all right? If not, I'll find it for you. Go ahead.
And make them swear by God, saying, ye shall not give your daughters unto their sons, nor take their daughters unto your sons.
No, not that. But Solomon. Solomon did marry women of which the Most High said, thou art not to marry. That's the precept I need. If not, I'll get it. I understand. Let me find it for you. 1 second. Stand by right up.
It's like we're talking about 1 Kings 11.
Sounds right.
Come, 1 Kings chapter 11, verse 1. But King Solomon loved many strange women.
That's what you need right there, warrior. Tell them where it is again.
Come, 1 Kings chapter 1. Sorry, 1 Kings chapter 11, verse 1.
Solomon did what?
Come. But King Solomon loved many strange women.
King Solomon loved many strange women. Strange women, meaning what? Not a homegirl. Not a woman who's like your mother, like your aunts, like your sisters. Strange. A whole different thing. They used to call it jungle fever, because your attraction to her is the fact that she is nothing like the women on your block, nothing like the women in your village, nothing like the women in your barrio or on your reservation. She's completely different, and that's where the attraction lies, in her unfamiliarity and her strangeness. Well, Solomon did that. He had that same feeling you feel when you see white women. Down in Jamaica, the Benjamites are bleaching their skin to be attractive. Pull one up with a stark white face, to be more attractive. It's a sad thing, because you're making yourself look like an oppressor to be more attractive to your own people. It's not like you're getting a white face to go marry a white man. No, you're getting a white face so that black men will like you. So that black men, you're getting blonde hair and blue eyes so that Kanye West will like you. Because Kanye West doesn't want a woman that looks like his mother, that he claimed to love so much, that he claims to honor in all of his music. But when it comes time to have sex, he has sex with a strange woman. When it comes time to give someone $10 million a month in child support, he gives that to a strange woman. And so some sister can struggle and go penniless without having a man. Solomon did the same thing. Continue. Whoever had it.
But King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughter of Pharaoh.
With who?
The daughter of Pharaoh.
He loved many strange women, together with, meaning including, the daughter of Pharaoh. Pharaoh's daughter is an African.
Right.
That's a strange woman, because we are not African. We're the 12 tribes of Israel, right? That's who we are, the children of God. And they at one time were our oppressors in Egypt. They're strange, and Pharaoh's daughter was a strange woman, and Solomon married her. Keep going.
Women of the Moabites.
Women of the what?
The
You
Moabites.
see, we can't marry Moabites. Ruth couldn't have been a Moabite because we're reading about how Solomon married a Moabite. She was a strange woman. He married Africans. He married the so-called Chinese, who are the Moabites in the Bible. Go ahead.
Amorites.
The Amorites, that's another African tribe. Keep going.
Edomites.
Say what again?
Edomites.
Say it one more time.
Edomites.
Edomites. Who are the Edomites? Our oppressor. Our oppressor here in America, here in Spain, here in Germany, here in Great Britain, here in Portugal. Solomon married women like that. Look at this cat here. I mean, how did I forget about him? Now, there was what's 12 tribes? Tribos Israel. 12 tribes. Tribos, 12 tribos Israel. This man is the chosen man of God. He's a son of God, this brother up here on this picture. But when he looks in the mirror, he thinks he's ugly and unattractive. And so he has to fix himself, right? Make himself look handsome. Make himself fair-skinned. You heard that one before, right? Fair-skinned. Alexa, she's not. Alexa, what does fair mean? Alexa, stop. What does it mean to look fair?
From AnswersDrive.com. The definition of fair is someone or something that is light in color, attractive, honest or clear and sunny.
Stop, Alexa. Something that is light in color, attractive. So when people say, oh, she's fair-skinned, or my son is fair-skinned, meaning to look like an oppressor makes you attractive. It makes you beautiful. The problem is your father doesn't look like that, and your mother doesn't look like that. And your abuela doesn't look like that. So you have to fix yourself, right? Like Sammy Sosa did. That's what Solomon wanted. Solomon wanted women that look like that. Edomites, our oppressor all across the planet to this current day. Keep going.
Zidonians.
Another African tribe. Keep going.
And Hittites.
I'm not sure they're even African. They might be the Assyrians, but you can look that up. There's so many of those tribes. Keep going.
Of the nations concerning which.
Say that again.
Of the nations concerning which.
Of the nations concerning which. Keep going.
The Lord said unto the children of Israel.
Unto who?
The children of Israel.
The tribos Israel. Keep going.
Ye shall not go into them.
That's what he said. When did he say that? In Deuteronomy 7:6. That's when he said that. There's no way Ruth could be an Israelite because they'd be killed. They'd be put to death they'd be unalived. That's what they would be, unalived. They'd be unalived in their tent. Last precept. Give me Zidon, who unalived them on top of each other in their tent. Give me that, and then I'll get to the next topic. I need to go into the topic of the brother, young brother and his mother who were arrested for murder in Chicago. I guess over a hot dog, as far as I can tell. I'll break it down in a second. 1 second. Go ahead.
Oh, you hear about the update that finally happened?
Did they get the charge? The charges were dropped. It looked like self-defense on the video, but you never know when it comes to our oppressor. There are plenty of black men in jail for the rest of their life with something that was clearly self-defense. But it seems like they dropped the charges, and we'll still go over the story. All right, because of course the damage is done. All right. Okay. All right. You ready, Al?
Come on, sir. The book of Numbers, chapter 25.
Now, you might read 1 or 2 verses above it to give them the context. Now, this is a no whip on TikTok. No, I didn't even say that. Can I pick this up or not? Leave it alone. It's not even there. I'm trying to not get kicked off of TikTok. Sorry, TikTok. My apologies. Anyway.
All
right.
Numbers, chapter
Go ahead.
25,
Mhm.
and verse 1. And Israel abode in Shechem, and the people began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab.
That's what they begin to do. With the what?
The daughters of Moab.
Let me tell you, this is a good question because many, every fake Israelite group, I don't know if you heard of them, like the IUIC, they're really the last fake Israelite group left, I believe. And they teach that Ruth was a Moabite, was a Chinese woman. And that, of course, you can have sex with Chinese women. You can do that because Ruth was a Moabite. Well, of course, I know that's what you would like to do because you hate black women and hate Hispanic women.
Right.
And you hate them so deeply that you would rather give your money and your allegiance to someone who looks nothing like your mother, nothing like your family. But Ruth could not have been a Moabite. We're reading about one right now. They committed what? Whoredoms. You think whoredom is not only when you have sex with a prostitute, which is whoredom, when you have sex with another man's wife, that's whoredom. But whoredom is also having sex with a woman of another nation. That is whoredom. She is a whore. She's filth. You should feel above her to touch her. You have no gravitas, no dignity. You don't have any self-respect to touch that oppressor. What would your grandfather think? What would your grandmother think? What would Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob think of your choice in woman? It's the funniest thing. This story comes on this is about every 10 years. I'll hear this story, right? Some rapper will have a yacht or a party, and he will only invite white women. Who knows about these stories? They're out every 10 years, right? And so he has these women on a yacht, and he's slutting all of them out. And his friends are having a group sex with them and getting them drunk and high on cocaine. And inevitably, someone on the internet will say, that's not right. He should invite black women to his yacht party and slut them out. And I always hear the story and go, so what are you mad about exactly? Oh, Trey Songz? Is that his name? Trey Songz had a slut yacht party with naked white women. Do you know it wasn't one naked black girl up there? I go, what? So what's your complaint? You want Trey Songz to slut and whore all over your daughter? Your mom. Is that? And I always hear it and go, I don't talk to people in the world just because I can't stomach it. But I would like to ask them, why? What do you want him? What are you asking for? What are you saying? You saying if you're gonna treat women like sluts and whores, then damn it, you better treat every woman of all races. You better look at the content of their character when you want to put seed all over their face and have your friends pull a train on them. You better judge the content of their character. I don't understand your complaint, but you brother, y'all young. Go ask them. Ask them what's the problem with whoring with white women and what do you want them to do with black women? That's on your own time, all right? But Solomon was having sex with whores because they were women outside of his race, and the entire nation was doing it at this time, just like we're doing it today. Continue.
The daughters of Moab, and they called the people unto the sacrifices of their gods, and the people did eat.
What were they doing? See, when you're having sex with a Chinese woman, before you know it, you're into kung fu and tai chi, which is a good way to get your ass whooped. Tai chi, a good way to. And then you wake up in the hospital, because that's just a good way to get beat to death. Kung fu is a good way to. And wake up in the hospital. Good way to 45 stitches. Right? But of course you're doing that because you want to be like your wife. And forget about them white girls. You marry her. Forget it. You marry her. You're a billionaire now. You think that you are so important because you have that white woman. You think you're amazing with her, don't you? Well, when you marry her, not only do you whore yourself, and not only is she a whore, but you also will take on the customs of her people, right? Which is what the Israelites were doing at that time. Continue.
And bow down to their gods.
And bow down to their gods, which is what you have to do in Buddhism and in that kung fu nonsense and that karate nonsense. You bow down to Buddha, bow down to the American flag, bow down to capitalism and democracy. You bow down to their gods. Continue.
Israel joined themselves into Baal of Peor.
Baal Peor, which is the Lord, you know, like the ultimate God, which was the ultimate God back then, much like the God of our oppressor is today, Caesar Borgia, or what you would call the white Jesus, or our oppressor's concept of the Father God. That was Baal in that day. He was a weather god, and you prayed to him if you wanted your crops to grow by getting a lot of rain and a lot of sun, and everyone prayed to Baal. Keep going.
And the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel.
See, the Most High God was angry about that. What would your father think?
Right.
He was angry. He was angry to see what you've done with yourself. To see how your choice in a mate has nothing to do with him. What evil child chooses a mate and doesn't ask their father? Is that what you would want your daughter to do? Just walk in the house with some white boy? I guess you'll force yourself to like it because, you know, you're trying to be a Democrat. You know, you're trying to be liberal. So you can't judge him by his skin color.
Right.
You wouldn't be insulted if your daughter came home with someone who was the direct opposite of you. Don't you know she's making a statement by doing that? Right. She's trying to tell you she hates you.
Right.
She doesn't honor you. She wants nothing to do with you. She listened to her mother and she went out to find someone who's not a N-word, a dirty N-word, because you can't trust N-words and you should never be around N-words. He's a good oppressor. He'll never leave her because white people never get divorced. They never break up. All of their marriages stay together. Dummy. Continue.
Verse 4. And the Lord said to Moses, take all the heads of the people and hang them up before the Lord against the sun, that the fierce anger of the Lord may be turned away from Israel.
Ruth couldn't have been a Moabite. She couldn't have been Chinese. Because when Israelites went to go marry the Chinese, did y'all hear that? I think that went over your head. Read it one more time.
Take all the heads of the people.
Go ahead.
And hang them up before the Lord against the sun.
Right. This is what we're going to do because we don't want the Most High to be angry at us. So all of the heads of each one of the 12 tribes of Israel, the tribos Israel, take them all and hang them. Hang all of them in the sunlight up on a mountain so the sun can hit them. So the Most High cannot be angry at the nation. That's how pure he wants your people. That's how much he loves your blood. That much. Continue.
And Moses said unto the judges of Israel, slay every one his men that were joined unto Baal Peor.
You see, if Ruth was a Chinese woman, her husband Boaz would have been killed, right? Unalived. Sorry, unalived. He would have unalived the hell out of him. Unalived him in a puddle. He would have unalived him in pieces. Skip down to the brother who they caught doing it at that exact moment.
Verse 6.
So now let me give you the context. So right now, while this has happened, the heads of Israel are being unalived on a mountaintop, right in front of the sun. The Most High is telling this to the people. The people hear this. They see these men being hung. They know they have to change. And at that exact moment, keep going.
And one of the children of Israel came and brought unto his brethren a Midianite woman.
A Midianitish woman. Who are the Midianites again? I don't remember. Are they like Assyrians or Iraqi? I don't remember. You can look up who the Midianites are, right? Keep going. Someone else can do it. Go ahead.
Sir. In the sight of Moses.
So now in the sight of Moses, while Moses is watching, someone says, hey, listen, I got this Midianite woman for you. Check her out. Oh, she's beautiful. She has that long hair and blonde and blue, whatever that strange mess is. You like them Arab women. Can I say Arab women? Probably not. You like desert women. women of the Far East, for their, because they're not ugly like you are and ugly like your ugly mother. Right? This woman is not ugly like your mom. She's beautiful. She's fair. She's fair-skinned. So he's bringing her to this man in front of Moses. Keep going.
And in the sight of the congregation, and in all of the congregation of the children of Israel.
And all the congregation see it. They weren't ashamed of it, which is what you're supposed to be if you're a sinner, ashamed of what you are and what you've become and what you're doing at night. Keep going. 1 second up front.
Can I get the precept on where a stranger or a heathen can't come into the
That's right around here, right? For 10 generations. Look up 10 generations and your concordance and you'll find it, all right? Continue. He's speaking about how if you have a child with them, that child who has her blood can't come around for 10 generations because by then, those features and the way that child looks will be washed out of our nation, right? Because now you had a white, your great, 10 times grandfather had a heathen woman, another nation. 10 generations after that, the child, that blood will not show. You won't have a confused child, which is all you do when you go and have a baby with a woman outside of your nation. You end up with a child who is so mixed up in their goddamn head, they don't know what to do. Because when they go around their black or Hispanic friends, they're an N-word or a wetback. When they go around their oppressor family, they're an N. I'm sorry, I mixed it up. I'm confused. When they go around their black or Latino family members, they're going to consider them white. They're going to consider them Chinese. They're going to reject them because of how they look. When they go around their oppressor's family, they're going to consider them N-words and bywords and slurs for Hispanic people. What in the hell do they do? Everyone rejects them. Well, if your father did that to you, don't do it for 10 generations. And then that will be done and you can come back around, no problem. In the back.
I had a question that was kind of off topic.
Go ahead.
So how would you do the dial test, like if you had a daughter that's dark skinned and a daughter that's light skinned? Like would you just focus on the features?
Brother, it doesn't even matter. They did that too. You give me a light skinned child. That child is going to know that they look like the ugly doll. It works the same. It means utterly nothing. Because even light-skinned Judites know that they're filthy, dirty N-words. They know that. And they know it when they're young. They know they're not Superman and Wonder Woman and, the other people that people idolize. They know that at 3 years old. They know. All right? Next. Let me wrap this up. 1 second. I'll wrap this up fast. All right? Go ahead.
And when Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, saw it, he rose up from among the congregation and took a
Phineas is more memorialized in the Bible, in the book, in Psalms 139. No, Psalms, what is it, 149? In the prayer we say every high holy day. Please, we don't mind. I lift up mine eyes to the, make them a wheel, like Phineas. I forget which prayer it is, but it's in Psalms. We say it every high holy day, every Sabbath. He's memorialized in that prayer for what he's about to do. So this Phineas saw it, and he rose up. He got up. Keep going. He took a javelin. Imagine this with a spear at the tip. That would be a javelin. Keep going.
He went after the man of Israel into the tent.
He went after him into that man, into his tent. Go ahead.
And thrust both of them through the man of Israel and the woman through her belly.
He thrust both of them like a shish kebab, like a kebab, through the man's back and through the heathen's stomach, which means what? Who has a logical mind that can explain what was happening in that room? Anyone up front? While they were having intercourse. That's why the javelin went through his back and through her stomach. Keep going.
So the plague was stayed from the children of Israel.
And because of that, the Most High got rid of the COVID-19 virus of its day, the black plague of its day. the swine flu of its day. The Most High stopped it. Keep going.
And those that died from the plague in the plague were 24,000. And the
20.
Lord spake unto Moses, saying,
What?
Phinehas, the son of Eleazar,
Uh-huh.
the son of Aaron the priest, have turned my wrath away.
He did what?
Have turned my wrath away.
See, man, we die so much, Chuck, and we don't even know why we're dying. You think you're dying because the wrong president is in the White House, don't you? The wrong mayor is the reason that you're dying, right? That's the problem. So if you could just vote the right guy in there, then problems that you've had for 400 years would stop. You know, you've had Democratic mayors in the past. In Philly, oh my God, in these cities, listen, Atlanta has nothing but the blackest mayors since the 70s. Blackest mayors. And recently in Atlanta, they went and built a place for cops to be trained. And everyone who tried to stop it went and they stormed their headquarters. I got it in my phone right here. Come on. The Southern Poverty Law Center, which was set up to protect black people in the South from the Ku Klux Klan. And now they're used to oppress the UPK, to oppress Commanding General Young. That's what they do all day, is bother us and give us problems all goddamn day. You think voting will fix your problems. What else do you think will fix your problems? A job, getting money, getting rich. You think those will fix your problems? Of course, rich white men do what? Commit suicide. That's what they do, rich white men. They slit their wrists in their bathtubs or hang themselves off of shower rods in hotels. And you think these things will change you, and they don't. The Most High is angry with you because of your breaking of his sacred law. And that's where the COVID-19 virus comes from. That's where the prison system comes from. That's where drug addiction comes from. Crack cocaine, heroin, pills, fatherless homes, mothers who abuse themselves and abuse their children, child molestation. It all comes from the Most High's rebuke on your behavior. And if you would amend your ways, he would amend his. He would change what he does.
Right.
I pray you understand. I got to go on. This is all about that. He killed him. It was a great thing. Now, of course, you can't kill him today. You hear that, FBI? You cannot kill them today. If some Chinese woman gets killed, don't call me about it. I don't know. If she gets unalive, we got nothing to do with it. Because I'm going to make this statement right now. Do not do this. You don't have to do this, nor will hurting some Chinese woman or some other nation will it stop the Most High from his curses. The Most High doesn't want you to become a judge of the law, because when you become a judge of the law, you cease being a doer of the law. You're not supposed to hurt people because they're LGBT or because they have a woman outside of their race. The minute you hurt that person, you broke the law. What the Most High wants you to do is keep the law. When you go choose a wife, don't choose someone that is not your homegirl. Everyone understands. All right, next. Please, Midians.
Midian. This is a pictorial Bible dictionary. In Genesis 37, verse 25 and 36, a cavern of traders is called Ishmaelites, then Midianites. The former referring to their descent from Ishmael.
All right, there you go. So the Midianites are a particular tribe of the Ishmaelites, which means they're what you would call today Arabs.
Right.
Arabs. Next. Make sure I get to my topic too. Any questions in the room? I'll answer them now. In the back. THAWADAH and questions online, please. Solid.
Brother wanted to break down Ecclesiastes chapter 39, verse 1 through 4.
All right, go ahead. I need some precepts for my breakdown later. I'm going to need the tongue as a little member that kindles the great matter in James. I'll also need there's two more I needed. Go ahead. James, there's James 2 or James 1, the tongue. Just look up the tongue. That's all you need, right? And there is another one also. There's another one. I'll get it in a minute. Go ahead. Who else has a question?
Go
ahead.
General breakdown of Ecclesiastes chapter 39, verse 1 through 4.
Go ahead.
Ecclesiastes chapter 39, verse 1. But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient, and be occupied in prophecies.
That's it. That's what he wants a question about.
And verse 2 and 3.
Good. Okay. Let me just break that down for you in 1 second. All right. Remind me to do me Espanol. All right. All right. Read it from the top.
Ecclesiastes chapter 39, verse 1. But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High.
He that giveth, 1 second. I forgot something. Bear with me 1 second. Okay, one more time.
But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High.
He that doeth what?
Giveth his mind.
It's right there. Read it again.
But he that giveth his mind.
That's the key. Let me tell you, brother, so many of you, right? You think that your position in life and what you become is because of where you grew up or how you grew up or who raised you or what happened to you, which is really what most of us are. Most of us are just an accumulation of traumas, and traumas build you. So because you were poor, you do this. Because you didn't have food security, you're selfish. Because you didn't have a father, you behave like this. Because your mother was a drug addict, or your mother was cruel with her words or with her behavior, you behave like this. Because you grew up in that city, on that block, you behave like this. So many of you think that you don't have a choice because you have to just carry on the dysfunctional tradition of where you are from and the family you were born in. That's not true. That's not true. Once you grow up and you become a man, you can choose who you want to be because you're not a dog or a cat. Humans are sentient beings. Alexa, what does sentience mean?
Sentience is usually defined as sentient condition or character, capacity for sensation or feeling.
I'll take that, Alexa. Sentience is being self-aware, meaning a dog or a cat, they can't change who they are. A dog or a cat is going to look for food and look for sex. And that's that. You can't say, hey, listen, dog, maybe you shouldn't have sex with that dog over there. Hey, dog, maybe you should not eat that food right in front of you. A dog can't change because a dog is strictly instinct wrapped up in flesh. That's it. A cat is instinct wrapped up in flesh. A cat is nothing else but that. A cat obeys you because you train it and he's afraid of you. A dog obeys you because you train it and he believes he'll get food if he sits. But a person is a sentient being, which means you have awareness. You can feel, you can be perceptive, which is what the Most High God meant when he said, give man dominion over the animals. We're greater than a dog or a horse or some animal. We don't have to just do whatever our penis tells us to do, which is what we're trained to do as men, just to do whatever your penis tells you. Your penis tells you to be gay, you're gay. Your penis tells you to have sex with sluts, with whores and sluts, if I could, Udiah, with women of less reputable reputation.
Right.
You do it because all you are is a hard penis. You could be more than that. You could be more than just get whatever your stomach wants. Your stomach wants chitlings and pig feet and bacon. Oh, forget about bacon. I think the UPK would be 3 times its size if we allow people to eat bacon. There's a few things that I know we are sacrificing membership for. One is bacon. The other one is marijuana. Brother, if we could smoke weed, brother, there'd be no seats ever in any school in the UPK, which is why there are no seats in the Christian church, because you can smoke weed in there. And people just have to do it. You don't. You don't have to do a thing because you're not a bulldog or a cat. You're not just, I have to smoke. I must smoke. I must have bacon. My grandmama ate pork. I have to do this. You don't have to do anything. You can change yourself, or else you're an animal. In here, we would have you civilize yourself. We would have you be civilized. You can change anything about yourself. If you apply your mind, you just decide. You say, okay, listen, I know I want to do these things, but I'm going to focus myself on this. Commanding General Yohana taught me focus 25 years ago. Focus. Still teaches it to me this day. Because many times, if I don't go work out, I'll come in here and break your effing jaw. Right. I will do it. I'm always on the edge of doing it all the time. But because of my fear of him and him telling me what to do and him trying to civilize me, and I became something better. Right. You could do the same. If you apply your mind, I'm sorry, in the back.
Would a precept be the light of the body is the eye?
Absolutely. That's a perfect precept. Give him a hand. The light of the body is the eye, meaning whatever you are looking at, whatever you are focused on, that thing will be inside of you. It will fill you up like this room can get filled up with light if you open up the shades. If you open the curtains, it fills you up. What are you focused on? Becoming a billionaire? Brother, I thought about this today. When I was young, I damn near never heard of the term billionaire, ever. That was not, you know what black people said at that time? They wanted to be what? Who was old enough to know? If they were realistic. Black people's dream was to be a millionaire. That was it. It was like, man, one day I'll be a millionaire. One day, man, I could hit 1 million. I could make millions. I don't know what happened one day. All of a sudden, 1 million meant nothing one day. 1 million was like nothing. And now everybody tried to get the bill. What's the slang term in rap for a billion? Some term I've heard. A billy. Now you in the ghetto. You trying to be a billionaire? That's your goal. In 10 years, it'll be like, man, I'm gonna be a trillion. Why? Because all of it is BS anyway. All of it is nonsense. You're not going to be a billionaire, a millionaire, or a thousandaire. You're going to jail. That's it. So whatever number you give yourself to achieve is never going to happen. What will happen, though? Your focus will be on getting $1 billion, and that just puts you in prison. That's all that does, or it makes some oppressor rich because you are seeking to be rich. Fill up your mind with something that actually will help you out. Focus on this thing. Apply your mind to this, officer in the front.
They're going to be the ones to take that dinner with Jay-Z.
Listen, how much money were they offering?
500,000.
500,000 is nothing because you need a billy to even matter, right? So you'll turn down 500,000 to have dinner with him, because if you have dinner with Jay-Z, you could get a billy. You're not having dinner with Jay-Z, and you're not making $10 tomorrow. I'm telling you this out of fatherly love for you. You're going to jail. You should do push-ups. Your life should be about push-ups and burpees. Hardcore burpees to them. Those shits right there where you, I got it. And you hitting that right there and programming on another level, that's more beneficial to you than dinners. You should be doing burpees and push-ups and programming on a high level, because that is what you need, because you're going to jail. Clap it up for that. That's where you're going. So, congratulations. And guess what? You're going there for free. So don't worry about Jay-Z. That costs nothing. Moving on. Go ahead.
Good. And has occupied in the meditation thereof.
That's what you need to do. And as occupied yourself in the meditation of it. What is meditation? Thinking. Because you're not a cat or a dog or a horse. right? So you think, you're like, damn, I want to be like this. I was born to be like this. My traumas say I have to be like this. So many of your wives are, your wife is going to be a lesbian because she was molested. So many times I've battled LGBT people. I'm about to get cut off right now. How can I say this without getting cut off of TikTok? I got to develop the skill. Or should I just not even do it? Proud people. Can I say proud people? Yediah? See, so many of you have a lot of pride because you were assaulted, abused as a child, which means your abuser chose your preference. It was not your decision. How many women have I counseled that have been abused as a child, and now they're strippers, and they have intercourse for money, and now they don't care who they're with, which is so heavy whenever I talk to them, and I go, so if your abuser would have found you 10 years later, they wouldn't have had to abuse you because you would have done it willingly.
Right.
That's what that means. When you were 9, someone had to say, shut your mouth, don't tell your mother, or I'll kill you. And they had to hold you down and crawl into your bedroom and sneak into your room. And you fought and you cried. If they would have waited 10 years, they could have just inboxed you. And you would have been fine. You became the thing that he wanted you to be. And so many of you people who are proud, you just became the thing that your uncle wanted you to be. He chose your pride. Him, not you. He chose for you because you're an animal, you're a goat or a cow, and you just live on instinct. The Most High would have you civilize yourself. I can be a human being who can think, who can choose, who can decide. He would have you focus your mind on something that is lawful and right, and then transform yourself into that thing. That's what Commanding General Yohana taught me. And when he found me, I was an animal, a brute beast who understood nothing but what my penis wanted and what the violence in my mind wanted. And he turned me into something worthy of being alive. Right. And he could do the same thing for you. Continue.
God will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient and will be occupied in prophecies.
Seek out the wisdom of all the ancient. Where are the ancients at? Hold it up. In the Bible.
Right.
That's where Abraham, Isaac, and men who have lived and died thousands of years ago. You'll focus on them. You'll focus on what Moses wants, not what you want. Right. Up front. Please.
Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 16.
Go ahead.
Thus said the Lord, stand ye in the ways and see, and ask for the old paths, where is the good way, and walk therein, and ye shall find rest in your souls.
That's a perfect precept. Give him a hand. You know how many times I've battled some idiot that says, you gonna believe that book that was written thousands of years ago? Yeah. Why? Who can blow my mind with the answer? If you can answer this, you're here today. And you've listened today. Raise your hand if you've ever heard someone say, how you going to believe that book that was written thousands of years ago? Raise your hand if you heard that before. All right. Yes. Why should you believe that book? Officer?
Because we follow the old path.
It's a better way to say it. It's a way to say it where you'll cut Christians to death. Are you going to believe that book that was written thousands of years ago? Yes, because, officer, it's the perfect phrase. It is the best cut in the world. I'm happy to give it to you. Come on. No, but everyone is right. But I'm just trying to sculpt your cut so they can be more deep, more harmful. Are you going to believe that book that was written thousands of years ago? Yes, because. No. Are you going to believe that book that was written thousands of years ago? Yes, because it was written thousands of years ago. That's why I'm going to believe it. The thing that's making you reject it is why I accept it.
Right.
Because it was written thousands of years ago. Who do you obey? Whoever is on your phone singing a goddamn song? You obey someone that's last week old. That's who you obey. Who do you obey? Give me people who are influential. Jay-Z. You obey Jay-Z, who is last week old, 10 years ago, with a head full of nasty dreadlocks, who somehow became a dirty surfer. That's what Jay-Z somehow became. A dirty surfer. You obey him. You can't knock his hustle. You don't want to obey the Bible because it is thousands of years old. That's why I obey it. Because it's not temporary.
Right.
Your influencers are temporary. You don't even know who they are in a month. You'll be on to someone else. Right. Whoever you think is so heavy and dropping it, you will not know who they are in a month. In a month, you'll be over it. I obey something that is thousands of years old.
Right.
It has passed the test of time. That's why I obey it. The Bible is telling you to do that. Look at those brothers in the past. Look at them. Look at what they wrote and what they laid down. See if that wouldn't fix your life. You're a drug addict. You don't need to listen to someone who's not. Damn. That blew my mind when I first came into the truth. I was a drug addict. They weren't. Maybe they know something better than me. Maybe they understand something that I don't understand. How do I know? Because they don't need drugs. Who do you listen to? Another drug addict? Do whatever you want, Doc. Do whatever you want. I told myself I had a good workout today in the gym. Give that a hand. Woo. I went out and found me some secluded place, and I pushed my sled. I carry a sled around in my car. And I put much weight on this sled and push it around when I find areas. And it was so good to me today. I said, if somebody offends me today, I am not going to get angry at them. That was what I said today. I think I'm still going to get angry, even though I think it's not going to work. But one day it will. One day I will put up with your nonsense, but not today. I thought I was, but I think I changed my mind about that. Everyone understands. Keep going. You want to say something now? Most High in Christ, THAWADAH. I appreciate you. I'll give him a hand. Go ahead.
He will keep the sayings of the renowned men.
He'll do it. Keep the sayings of who, Jay-Z? That's your leader, Tupac. Tupac is your leader. Come on. Oh, Jesus Christ. Steve Harvey is who you listen to for marital advice. You call Steve, should I love my husband or should I leave him? Girl, you should leave him because he ain't got no job. Thank you, Steve. You let Steve Harvey solve your marital problem on his third marriage. Your preacher. I remember when Captain THAWADAH was battling some filth named Polite. Oh, my God. Listen, Captain, give him a hand up. I'm telling you, and Polite, he was just Gloriana. Gloriana, look that up. You'll find out what that is when you get home. He was Gloriana. And he was Floyd Mayweather's guru. Literally. I mean, he was giving Floyd Mayweather all of his advice. Who else was he a guru to? Ron Artest. Meta World Peace. Oh, he was such a guru to Meta World Peace and Ron Artest. Oh, he was on the Breakfast Club like a regular on there. Meanwhile, Captain THAWADAH was saying he's a piece of garbage heathen, and you should not follow him. You should not follow him. But of course, Meta World Peace and Floyd Mayweather thought that his sage wisdom was so valuable to them. Right. Yeah, he just got arrested for molesting his wife's daughter, who was 12 or 13 or something like that. Not only did he molest and rape the girl, he assaulted her, he abused her, he drugged her to do it. took her to a hotel, told the mother that he was going to drop her off somewhere. But instead of dropping her off somewhere, took her to a hotel and spiked her drink, spiked her water or whatever, Kool-Aid or whatever the little girl was drinking, her yoo-hoo, spiked it, and come on, and what did he do? And abused the girl. That's your guru. That's who you listen to. Why? Because he's on the Breakfast Club and Floyd Mayweather is with him. So you listen to Polite. What about being an entrepreneur? That's what you want to be, an entrepreneur. Well, I'm sure you'll be an entrepreneur. He's gonna abuse your child. That, that's part of the entrepreneur price. You should listen to men of renown.
Right.
Men who are so old and seasoned. Men who are famous not for being rappers or honorable reverend doctors, but for being righteous. But for being righteous, and you follow them, or else follow Tupac. That's up to you. Or Martin Luther King. He didn't have any personal problems, right? Who do you follow, Martin Luther King? Huh? Raise your hand if you know about Martin Luther King's sexual habits. That's who you should follow then. You follow him because you're going to be just like him. Just like him.
Right.
Continue.
Sir. And where subtle parables are.
And subtile, the word subtile today is subtle. Subtle parables. Alexa, what does the word subtle mean?
The adjective subtle is usually defined as thin, tenuous, or rarefied, as a fluid or an odor.
Rarefied. Alexa, stop. I'm going to say again. Topic, right after this. Say again. Oh, right. Okay. Subtle means it's hard to understand it. It's subtle. It's not direct. It's not in a way that it's easy to be understood. It's subtle. So because it's so subtle, you have to pay attention to get it because it's subtle. You have to focus on it to get it. You have to do what? Give me the one West term. Come to class. If you're not in class, if you're not focused on it, if you're not getting counsel, you're not going to get it up. And you're going to jail. With that, that's it, all right? Now on to my topic. Clap it up. Put it up on the screen for me. Okay, now, man, what is the priest? I need definitely that. Okay, yeah. What I mean is just pull up the story about the woman and the son. That's what I mean. No sweat. And give me the precept about the tongue in James. Give me bind the strong man in the book of Luke, right? One more. Stand by. Someone give me Wisdom of Solomon 12:5. Hold those three. And those are the three precepts that I can get with the time that I have allotted, all right? We have to, of course, after this class, Commanding General Yohana's show will begin upstairs. If you would like to come, you talk to the guard and see if you can be allowed to get up in there. You might not be, but talk to the guard about it, all right? So now we'll break down the story. This is the sister right here, right? So, okay, now I'm going to just tell you what I know of the story. You tell me if what I'm saying is correct or if it's been proven to be false, all right? So now this is Chicago. It happened this week, correct?
I have the article.
Oh, please, go ahead and read it.
All right. A woman and her 14-year-old son have been criminally charged after authorities say they instructed the teenager to shoot a man in Chicago hot dog stand. Carlisha Hood, 35 years old, and her son were arrested in the city Wednesday in connection to the June 18 late night killing of 32-year-old Jeremy A. Brown. Chicago police said. Continue to read, sir.
I think that's it. Let's show the video if you can play it. If we're allowed to play it, all right? Whenever you're ready, let me know. Am I missing questions online while we're waiting?
I know that brother is on the scripture.
I'm sorry, who's holding something? What you got up?
Matthew 12:29, divine strongman.
Yes, just hold those. Hold that. Hold the tongue. The tongue I'll go to first. And hold Wisdom of Solomon 12:5. All right?
I got the wisdom
Solid. All right. Did I give you too much too late out for this video? Okay, no sweat.
I can play it right now if you want to.
Absolutely.
Get the gun! Get the gun! Hey! Get your food! Say one more thing, I'll knock you out. Oh my brother, say one more thing, I'll knock you out. Oh, say one more thing, I'll knock you out.
That's that. So the video, all the video we have available to us is them getting in an argument. I would guess over hot dogs. That's all I can guess. Is that this wasn't hot dog altercation about effing hot dogs. Somehow they got into an argument. You remember, right? Remember the Popeyes chicken phase, right? The Popeyes chicken phenomenon, where you had to fight over a sandwich, a fried chicken sandwich. Or the fight you get in when you drive, right? Because God forbid, you can't drive without beeping your horn so hard because these people are trying to cut you off. They're evil because they're cutting you off in traffic. They're taking a parking space from you, aren't they? That's what they're doing, right? They're taking your effing parking space. They should die. This is common, ubiquitous. Right? Why? Because this is how white people act. Like this. White people kill each other over, looking each other in the eye. They kill each other for principle, don't they?
Right.
They kill each other over anything. Do you know how our oppressor unalives each other for anything? Give me the last time a duel was fought in America. Do you know that our oppressor used to fight duels, brother? Presidents fought duels, vice presidents, heads of state, secretary of the treasury, shot somebody in a duel because our oppressor is violent and he believes in being violent. And because of our attraction to his lifestyle, we become like him. We become someone that will kill, that will unalive you over an argument, a disagreement, over anything. At the end of the day, the woman almost come into the hot dog stand and bring the gun. Son, unalive him and unalive his sister because she was laughing. That was the reports of the witnesses. So because of that, this woman and her 14-year-old son were arrested for unaliving him. At the end of the, I believe sometime today, the police dropped the charges on the 14-year-old boy and the mother because they determined that it was self-defense.
Right.
From the tape, from the little bit I saw, which is not enough to make a judgment on this matter, it looked like self-defense. It looked like this man was beating his mother, and he had the gun or brought the gun in or heard the argument, and he shot this man to stop him from unaliving his mother. It seems like that our however, if we have to determine our morality based on what the courts say, we're going to be the most unaliving people that you could possibly imagine.
Right.
Because our oppressor is an unaliver. That is what he is. And you can't determine who you are based on him. If you are a 14-year-old boy, and your mother is constantly putting you in this position, you need this class tonight. Right. A lot of boys, you are that boy, many of you. Your mother didn't have a man. And because she didn't have a man, you were her Valentine. You bought her Valentine's Day gifts. You danced and rapped and sung to make her smile because she was crying all the time. She was so sad and miserable all the time. You wanted to be the man in her life.
Right.
And because of that, you fight anybody that talks about your mama. Someone says a word about her, they're getting punched in the face. Because that's your mother, because you are her protector. Let me explain something to you that your mother never told you. You are not supposed to protect your mother. She is supposed to protect you. That's what's supposed to happen. You're the child. Your mother is not supposed to say, my son will shoot you, my son will kill you, or unalive you. Your mother is supposed to say, I have to protect my son because I'm an adult and he's a child. And I can't put him in a position where he might give up the rest of his life for me. I am supposed to give up my life for him. That is the burden of a parent. And if you don't want to be like that, don't have babies. Because many Black and Latino women are having babies to supplement not having a man.
Right.
And they think a baby is their toy. It's a toy. You can take a little girl, dress her like a whore, put her on Instagram, and say, look at her. Put high heels on her and sexualize her. Because really, this little girl is yours. And you can do whatever you want to her. She's a toy for you. You can twerk on videos with her sitting there looking at you. Because really, this baby is nothing that you have a responsibility of. The baby has a responsibility to make you happy. The baby has to please you. The baby has to make you happy. So because of that, this child is a thing to make you happy.
Right.
And because of that, the boy has to go to jail for the rest of his life. Because you want to argue over a goddamn hot dog. You're a terrible mother. You need this class.
Right.
If you think that you can argue over a Popeye's effing sandwich and your result is, I have a son in the car who will come unalive you, you're a terrible mother.
Right.
And let me tell you something, brother. You better thank the Most High that commanding General Yohana is over me. Because you get mad at child services for taking your children. I would take probably 5 times more kids than the white man does.
Right.
I would take them. Because you're a terrible parent. Because your child is just something that you use for your pleasure. If your child is getting molested, is getting abused. You know what you tell the child? Do I have to teach this? You just have to take it. Shut your mouth about it. Don't tell anybody what happens in this house.
Right.
That's what you tell your child. Because your child is not even a person to you. Your child just shuts his mouth and takes the abuse so that this man can pay your rent.
Right.
Am I telling you something you don't know? You know this. Raise your hand if you know about a woman who called her brother to shoot somebody over a goddamn argument. Yeah, You know what I'm talking about then, right? Do you know what that bitch is going to do? Let me explain to you. She is going to call her baby brother, her big brother, her cousins, and tell them to come kill someone over an argument. If you don't kill the person, if you just beat them up, or for some reason you don't show up, what's going to happen in 2 weeks? Come on, tell me that you lived this life that we've all lived. Captain Tazai.
They're gonna be bringing me right back together.
She's having sex with him in 2 weeks, and they're staying together. She's not leaving him. She only called you because she has to exercise her power at all times.
Right.
But the man, when she says, "Get over here, he hit me, he did this to me," you're going to run over there. Why? Because you, at a child's age, have to be the man of the house. So you run over there and you kill him, or he kills you, or you get in a big fight with him. Some of you are so dumb. This is the worst dummy. You go fight your sister's boyfriend and get into a good scrap with him. And you fight and it's terrible, bloody. And then you gotta walk over to the house again, and there he is sitting in the house. Oh, Lord. You sitting there, you got a black eye, he got a broken jaw. You gotta walk in there. I come to see my nieces and my nephews. Oh, Lord. You're not, come on in the car. Go ahead.
If I could, like, I know, like, many other brothers, you got them phone calls, and, like, you know, in the world, I was a firecracker, and it got to a point where, you know, I had to realize, like, hold on, you know what I mean? She's gonna be back with him anyway. Oh, he hit me. Hey, y'all.
Maybe I shouldn't go to jail for 25 years over this, right? Because when I'm in jail, they're gonna be back in that house boo-loving.
Right.
So maybe this is not a thing I should get involved in, because she's not leaving him. She's just mad today.
Right.
Well, if you're a 14-year-old boy, I know you want to defend your mother, and you're right to defend your mother. She's your mother. She needs your protection. Who else does she have? But your mother is putting you in a terrible position, because if your mother could shut her effing mouth over hot dogs, you could not go to jail for 25 years, and you wouldn't have to have a body on your conscience.
Right.
You would have to, and that's a terrible thing to have. And you think you get over it quickly until you see them in your dreams, and you see them when you're walking down the hallway of your apartment, and you see this person that you unalived, and you see them, and they're there, and you're thinking about it, and thinking, they have family members. Are they going to now come and unalive me? Right. And now you're thinking about how you are going to get unalive because of what you've done. And your mother has done this because she couldn't get her food and leave. She couldn't do that because your mother doesn't put up with nonsense, does she? She argues over sandwiches and hot dogs. And she gets in road rage incidents.
Right.
John 1, the one in John about the tongue. Let me tell you what's better for your child. This is what's better for you. I know all of you dumb, stupid bitches in the world were watching this video thinking, that's what I need. A 14-year-old boy that would unalive a man for me. What you need is to watch your effing mouth.
Right.
That's all. Then the boy won't be in that position where he has to save your life.
Right.
Because you can buy a hot dog and not get into a fight. You can walk into a restaurant. Your mother can't go anywhere without arguing with someone. She cannot do it. Because some waitress is not being a good enough waitress.
Right.
Some person that sells hot dogs or McDonald's sandwiches is taking too long with the French fries. So your mother, because she never has learned self-control, has to turn her son into an unaliver. Listen, I know it's beautiful. The brother, he defended his mother. He did what he had to do. And I absolutely expected for those charges to be dropped because it was self-defense. That boy did not commit an act of illegal unaliving. He saved his mother's life. And it was absolutely justified that he unalived that man. But would you like to not be in that situation?
Right.
We can teach you to not be in that situation.
Right.
So your son doesn't have to risk his entire life. You might have to just take mustard instead of ketchup.
That's right.
You might have to just maybe wait for your house. You know what blows my mind with Judites are? I'm sure every tribe does this, but I'm a Judite, so I'm a little slanted in it. Why do you shop in places that you don't like the service of?
Right.
Am I already cut off?
I believe you could. They was listening.
I appreciate you. Am I ready? Testing 1, 2. I know this came from Martin Luther King, but why in the hell do you shop in places that you hate the service of the place? What do you go there for? It takes too long. You don't like the service. You don't like how they talk to you. You don't like standing in line. God forbid. Why don't you just get your hot dog somewhere else?
Right.
And then your son doesn't have to go to jail. Then your son doesn't have to have a body on his conscience. And for those of you who have it on your conscience, it's terrible to have it on your conscience. It's terrible. Why don't you just make your hot dogs at the house? Since you're so uncivilized that if you walk into an effing Popeyes, you're going to fight because you don't want to stand in line because you were here first. That person was not here first.
Right.
You were here first. Where my napkins at? Bitch, eat at your house.
Right.
Eat at home. Because your son will be put in a position to risk his future over your mouth.
That's right.
Right.
Read.
It's the book of James, chapter 3, verse 5. Even so, the tongue is a little member and boasts of great things.
The tongue is a little member. Look at your hands and your feet and your muscles. These are big members of your body. Your tongue is a small member. It's a small part of your body, but it boasts big things.
Right.
Your mouth does a lot of damage, a lot, especially if you're a woman. It does a lot of damage. Continue.
Behold, how great a matter a little fire kindleth.
Behold, how great a matter a little fire kindleth. Your tongue being so small, it makes a giant fire. Your mouth. Your mouth. Behold. Behold. Behold a giant matter that happened from your mouth, from arguing. This is not about freedom or liberty or justice. This is about effing hot dogs.
Right.
That's what this is about. And let me tell you something I learned years ago. I'm probably telling you too much. But when I first came into church, first of all, I was so wild. You know how you got different strains of weed right now? My favorite weed was powder cocaine. That was my favorite weed because it made me wild and crazy. And that is what I loved to be. And Commanding General Yohana took me, brother. And I remember there was so many incidents where I just, after I was off it, I just still wanted the action. You understand? Like the excitement of it. And he taught me how to civilize myself and how to have control. And that's what this brother needed who was in this incident. Because you're going to live life where people will push a button in you and it will say, go there, do it. Let it happen. Feel the freedom of hurting someone, the power of hurting someone. And so many women do not understand that when they talk to you like they are men, they're talking to a broken man. This man who did this was broken. But your mother thinks he's trying to stop her from getting her mustard. He's destroyed. He's dying inside.
Right.
But your mother wants napkins, more napkins. Your mouth will start such a terrible fire that you won't understand where it comes from. And in the end, your son, your 14-year-old baby, will be forced to save your life. And that boy was right to save his mother's life. But it doesn't have to be that way.
Right.
If we could be kind instead of cruel.
Right.
If that woman could go to that man and say, it's only a hot dog. Please, sir, let me give you something, brother, something I do every day, and I don't say this. I never beat my horn, ever. Never. Because I remember being a monster. So if I get in a problem or someone cuts me off, they beat my horn, I on purpose never touch my horn.
Right.
This is what I say when I get into a dispute driving. I do this.
Right.
And I see the driver look at me, he goes, and I go. I'm giving way to you. I'm giving way to you. Please, sir, you first. Please, let me help you. Do this. I learned this from Commander General Yohana, and that's what tamed the animal in me. And when women talk and argue with some stranger or their baby's father, which is where it's going to usually happen, when she has to argue and fight, nigga, you ain't N-word, you ain't nothing, you ain't this, you ain't that. Who are you talking to? Someone that's disciplined? Someone that didn't go to prison? Someone that hasn't been destroyed and beat down for his entire life? You're talking to pieces of a man.
Right.
That's who you're speaking to. And sometimes, if you make him think that you don't think he's a man, he will treat you like you are one.
Right.
That will happen. Or you could just go to a different hot dog stand. Read it. Keep reading.
Khan, verse 6. And the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. So is the tongue among our members, that it defileth the whole body.
A world of iniquity. And it makes the entire body vile. Watch your mouth, baby girl. Watch your mouth. That's all. You don't like the Popeyes. Go to a different Popeyes. Leave. The line is too long in there, right? Who they taking forever. That was supposed to be your order. Leave. They don't want to serve you. Leave.
Right.
Or make your son traumatized for the rest of his life.
Right.
You could do that, and certainly your son will come in there and do it. Why? There is no man that will do it for you.
Right.
You chased away every man you've ever met.
Right.
Your son has had uncle after uncle, Mr. Johnson, Mr. This, your new boyfriend, 3 daddies. He calls 2 men daddy already. Why not just make him the new husband? And it's so evil out. The evilest thing in the world, when you go online and see a woman that goes, he's supposed to protect her mother. She is supposed to protect him.
Right.
He's the child. He's the minor.
All right.
You're supposed to die for that 14-year-old boy. That is your obligation. Or else why in the hell did you open your legs? Oh, because you wanted to have an orgasm. And your son is, the product of lust. So really, he's just a thing that can shoot for you. And I don't even know if sisters understand that they do this. Good sisters in the UPK, they know.
Right.
Let me tell you another story I shouldn't tell you. Okay, I gotta get out of here. This was when I was young, very young in the truth, right? Give me Buying the Strong Man. I was very young in the truth, and me and myself and General Mayad, we used to just go to the camps and watch the camps because like every prospective trooper, we were trying to prove our worthiness to be troopers. So we would just show up at every camp in all black, hoping that they would invite us to come into the camp. We were going to all the classes. We would just stand in the crowd in all black. And so it was one day, it was at Broad and Olney in Philadelphia. And we're at camp, and some dope fiend was at the camp, and he started throwing M&Ms at the camp. And I'm watching him. I'm going, this cat is throwing M&Ms at the camp. And the speaker was just like, yeah, man, under Commanding General Yohana, ISUPK out of 1 West Harlem, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. We got to stop doing this. We got to stop doing that. He's doing just like that, ducking M&Ms. THAWADAH. He's ducking the M&Ms. And the brother said nothing. Then the camp ended. He did the announcements, and he got down off the camp, and he walked, and the brothers went to go pack the van. And the camp leader went over to the guy, and he said, hey, was that you throwing M&Ms at the camp? He said, yeah, because y'all mother effers. The camp leader went like this. And the camp came from packing that van, put the stuff down, and went and circled this guy. And I remember specifically, like it was yesterday, hearing the crowd go, oh, Lord. Just like that. The crowd said, oh, Lord. And he said, Imagine Shabbat. And he said this, and I'll never forget it because it changed me. He said, brother, I know you hate what we teach, but you should thank the Lord that we follow Christ, because if not, we would kill you right here today. Don't you ever do that again. I know you don't like what we say. I know you think that we shouldn't say what we say or believe what we believe. But if we didn't believe it, we would kill you today. And I stood there, and the brother said, I understand. And then he went and told the camp to go back to the van, and I stood there, and I knew where I belonged.
Right, that's right.
Because he got to play THAWADAH outside. Let me tell you, and now I'm going to speak to the 14-year-old boy. The 14-year-old boy, I know you think you need to hurt someone for your sister, hurt someone for, your mom, hurt someone for your baby cousin. Why? Because you want to feel like a man. I know you do. Our oppressor does this every day. Our oppressor goes to war over what happened to their women. You see these people hung on these walls up here, hung in the South? Right. You know why they got hung? Because a white woman said Emmett Till whistled at her. That's why they got hung. Emmett Till was unalived at the word of a white woman to her protector. Because her protector said, who whistled at you? Who came in this house? Who raped you? And he went to, and they unalived cities based on the word of a woman.
Right.
Based on someone, virtually every racial massacre happened because a woman said she was raped. Come to find out later, it was consensual sex. Brother, my entire life, I thought Emmett Till whistled at that woman. I think it was 5 years ago when the woman finally said, he didn't even whistle at her. Do you understand?
Right.
I thought the tragedy of the Emmett Till story was that a white woman got a brother killed simply for whistling at her. Come to find out, the tragedy of Emmett Till is that this poor little boy died and he did not whistle at her.
Right.
But her husband, but her cousins, but her big brothers had to defend this woman.
Right.
And they murdered a child over it. I know you would like to feel like a man by defending the women in your life, but I would have you make sure that the women in your life care about you.
Right.
That you have to make sure of. Read the precept in Luke, the one I asked for. I gotta go.
The book of Matthew, chapter 12, verse 29. Or else, how can one enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods?
Let me tell you something about our men, which is what some of you loudmouth bitches better know when you go into the Popeyes. Our men are destroyed. They don't have the discipline to not smack you in your effing mouth.
Right.
They're getting beat to death every day and emasculated every day. And most of them getting emasculated by their baby's mother, who's just like you. Getting emasculated by some job. Getting emasculated because they're poor, because they have nothing. And now here we are in the Popeyes. And you are saying, N-word, you ain't nothing. You bum, you dusty this. You would hope he would be chivalrous, right? You would hope he would say, well, because you're a woman, I won't hurt you. But see, the problem is you can't destroy a nation without destroying its men first.
Right.
You can't do that. So the men you meet in the Popeyes, they don't have discipline. They've not been raised. They don't know how to control themselves. They didn't see what I saw that day at camp. Because of what I saw, I know how to be masculine without hurting someone.
Right.
Because that man didn't get hurt for throwing those M&Ms. But yet, the masculinity of the UPK was evident. he doesn't know how to battle with his words. You think men learn that? Men don't learn to argue.
Right.
Men don't know how to argue.
Right.
So when you're calling him names, he doesn't know how to say, you stupid hot dog eating bitch. He doesn't know how to say that. He just wants to one day not be around someone who thinks he's a punk.
Right.
And because he can't argue, he's going to smack the teeth out of your mouth. And then your son rightfully will defend you because your son should defend you.
Right.
And this all happened over a hot dog. A hot dog. That's something else I told myself young and true. I would rehearse in my mind telling Commanding General Yohana the story about why I hurt someone. So I got to get out of here. Because I remember going, okay, all right, I'm going to say, this guy said this to me, and I did this. And it would go, he going to think I'm the dumbest mother alive. And I would just I would like rehearse it before I did something. I would go, okay, I'm going to come. Hey, Shalom, so listen, I was coming out the driveway, and this guy was taking too long. And so I went and got this thing out of my car. I broke all his windows. He's going to go, you dumb, stupid mother. And I would rehearse myself telling the story. And because of that, I would know I can't do it because I can't tell the story.
Right.
I can't pick up the phone and say, I killed someone over a hot dog. And that would make me go, I'm shopping somewhere else.
Right.
This is what you should do, baby girl. Rehearse it in your mind. This is what I'm going to tell the court, the police. I wanted more mustard. And he said this, so I said that, and so my son unalived him. That story might help you just go, listen, I can eat hot dogs in a lot of places. A lot of places. It helped me. I'm just offering it to you to help you because you can't assume that people will get into a big argument with you. A rousing argument like a lot of women love to have. He might just decide to knock all your teeth out of your head, and your son might love you.
Right.
And so then he ruins his life. Read it again.
Con. Or else, how can one enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he first bind the strong man?
Let me tell you something about our children. They're destroyed because they don't have fathers. Their parents think of them like toys. And they're being oppressed by the devil the Bible speaks of. Right. Our little boys don't have the good sense to understand who they should hurt and who they should not hurt. They don't know.
Right.
Our women have been, give me the word, abused. These women you're meeting out, when you go punch a woman in the face because of what she said, remember this, that woman was abused from the time she was 6 years old. Her mother's boyfriends were abusing her. Her mother told her she was ugly and disgusting, and she has been abused since about 7, 6. So when you go to punch her in her face, just know that this is a broken woman.
Right.
This woman has been damaged by this world. Right. She's talking to you like this to reflect her trauma. This is who she's become. She's not just a bitch who's yelling at you. She is an abused child who's standing in front of you. Right. Remember that when she's arguing with you.
Right.
And women, when you see that brother who you want to argue with, your baby's father, or that man in the Popeyes or the hot dog restaurant, just know a black or Latino or so-called North American Indian man is the most abused person on the planet. And he is struggling just not to cry every day and kill himself. He's struggling with that. Right. And in that way, what I would pray is that kindness would conquer cruelty. Is that we would feel compassion for the mother who's alone and been abused as a child, for the son who's had to take the place of an adult in his mother's life, for the man who has been run down and beaten so that his nation can be destroyed. If we could feel compassion on one another, we might be able to fight cruelty. Right. With that, pass the class over to Priest Officer.
ISUPK security announcements. We are the ISUPK, start out at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister come into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves to the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, Numbers chapter 18, verse 21, Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 through 10. Ma'ashara means tenth in Hebrew. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord give you, you give to the teacher. A priest fund is a free will offering for the priest, not mandatory whatsoever amount you would like. Remind Akim and Abakim to check the bulletin board in the hallway. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black, boots, shirt, pants, anything to start with. That being said, like Majim, which means to stand just a minute. We're going to get a brother's one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Mom Shabbat, like Majim, Barak.
Yahweh,
hands down, sorry, sisters. We're going to get the sisters one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Mom Shabbat, like Majim, Barak. Yahweh Towers, we hands down, class is missing.